Liverpool's summer is already moving at a pace that most clubs only dream about. And it is not even June yet. Right now, as you are watching this video, multiple major decisions are being made at Anfield that will define the next chapter of this football club. We are talking about defenders leaving, goalkeepers being retained, midfielders being chased across Europe, and a transfer window that is shaping up to be one of the most consequential in recent memory. This is not speculation. This is the reality of what is unfolding right now at Liverpool Football Club. Let me take you through everything, piece by piece, so that by the end of this video, you have the clearest possible picture of where Liverpool stand heading into this summer. Stay with me because there is a lot to unpack. Before we go deeper, I want you to understand something. The decisions Liverpool make this summer are not just about adding quality. They are about protecting the foundation of a squad that, despite its inconsistencies last season, remains one of the most watched and analysed teams in world football. Every single piece of news we're going to go through today carries real consequences. A wrong decision on a centre-back, a failed deal for a midfielder, a goalkeeper situation handled badly. Any one of these could destabilise the entire structure that Arne Slot is trying to build. If you want deeper analysis on stories like this, stories that go beyond the headline and into the real football implications, then hit that subscribe button right now. This channel exists to give Liverpool supporters the full picture, not just the noise. Subscribe now and join the conversation. Let us get into it. Ibrahima Konaté is leaving Liverpool. Sky Sports broke this news earlier today with a clear and direct headline. Ibrahima Konaté is set to leave Liverpool after 5 years at the club. That is the confirmed position according to Sky Sports News. Konaté arrived from RB Leipzig and went on to make 181 appearances for the club. That is a significant number. That is not a bit part player. That is someone who has been central to this Liverpool defence for 5 years. Now here is what I find important about the way this news was delivered. Sky Sports used the phrase set to leave. That language matters. It is not rumoured. It is not being considered. It is set to happen. That is as close to confirmed as you get before an official announcement. My analysis on this. Losing Konaté is a real blow for Liverpool, even if the club has clearly made the decision to move on. He was not just a defender. He was a physical presence, a leader in aerial duels, and someone who complemented Virgil van Dijk in a way that took time to develop. When you lose a centre-back of that profile, you do not just replace him with any available option. You need someone who fits the system, the mentality, and the demands of competing at the highest level. Liverpool will need to move quickly here. The contract situation that nobody saw coming. Transfer News Live, citing journalist Alex Crook, added a very important detail to the Konaté story. According to that report, Liverpool are increasingly expecting Konaté to leave as a free agent this summer. That means no transfer fee. Nothing. £0 coming back to the club for a player who made 181 appearances. What makes this even more striking is that Konaté himself, back in April, suggested publicly that a contract extension was close to being finalised. That is the part I want you to focus on. As recently as April, the player was talking about staying. And yet, here we are at the end of May, and no agreement has been reached. Something clearly broke down in those conversations between April and now. My analysis on this. When a player publicly says a deal is close and then it falls apart within weeks, it tells you one of two things. Either the financial gap was bigger than anyone admitted at the time, or there was a change in thinking from one side or the other. Either Liverpool decided the numbers did not make sense, or Konaté decided he wanted a new challenge. Whatever the reason, the outcome is the same. Liverpool lose a quality centre-back for free. That is a painful reality for the club, and it means the priority in this transfer window has just become even more urgent. Alisson stays. Liverpool block the Juventus move. This one landed with significant force. According to Fabrizio Romano, one of the most reliable journalists in world football, Liverpool have blocked Alisson's move to Juventus. There was clearly interest from the Italian club, and there was clearly a moment where that move could have happened. But Liverpool stepped in and said no. The same report adds that Mamardashvili could leave on loan. That is an important secondary detail. Mamardashvili came to Liverpool as a future number one, and if he leaves on loan, it suggests the club is satisfied keeping Alisson as the undisputed first-choice goalkeeper while allowing the younger option to develop with game time elsewhere. My analysis on this. Liverpool keeping Alisson is the right call, and I think it is a decision that will look even stronger in 12 months' time. In a summer where they are already losing Konaté at centre-back and dealing with uncertainty around other positions, allowing your goalkeeper to leave would have created a completely unnecessary crisis. Alisson is not just a goalkeeper. He is a leader. He is experience. He is someone who wins you games by himself on certain occasions. Blocking that move was decisive, and it shows Liverpool's leadership understands what the squad cannot afford to lose right now. The Mamardashvili loan detail is also smart business if it happens. You keep your best goalkeeper, you give your future goalkeeper the experience he needs to grow, and you protect the squad. That is intelligent squad management. Diomandé, Liverpool are moving fast. Now this is where the incoming business gets very interesting. According to Florian Wirtz, one of the most plugged-in journalists covering European football, Liverpool are pushing for a quick agreement with Diomandé. The 19-year-old is described as remaining one of their top targets. He currently plays for RB Leipzig. But here is the complication. Paris Saint-Germain and Manchester City are also closely monitoring the situation. Both clubs have already held talks with parties involved. And crucially, there is still no agreement with any club at this stage. RB Leipzig, for their part, still want to extend his contract and improve his salary. So the player's current club is not simply rolling over and accepting this will happen. They are actively fighting to keep him. My analysis on this: 19 years old, already attracting interest from Liverpool, Paris Saint-Germain, and Manchester City simultaneously. That tells you everything you need to know about the level of talent we are discussing here. This is not a speculative signing. Liverpool have identified this player as a genuine priority. The use of the word quick in Plettenberg's report is significant. Liverpool are not approaching this casually. They want this done fast, probably because they know exactly what kind of competition they are up against. The involvement of Manchester City adds an interesting dimension. City are going through major changes of their own following Guardiola's departure. But they clearly still have the resources and the ambition to compete for top targets. Liverpool cannot afford to be slow here. When you are chasing the same players as Paris Saint-Germain and Manchester City, speed and decisiveness become just as important as the fee itself. Liverpool's financial position this summer. Empire of the Cop shared a very telling quote from analyst Lewis Steele, speaking via the Daily Mail. The quote reads as follows: "There are no financial concerns and the money is there, though do not expect another £446 million outlay." That is a remarkable sentence when you sit with it for a moment. There are no financial concerns. The money is there. That is a direct and confident statement about Liverpool's ability to spend this summer. But the second part of that sentence is equally important. Do not expect another £446 million outlay. My analysis on this: what Lewis Steele is telling us here is that Liverpool have financial flexibility, but they are going to be more targeted this summer. Last summer's £446 million spending was extraordinary. It was a statement of intent. It rebuilt a large portion of the squad. This summer, the approach will be more surgical. Identify the key gaps. Move decisively. Do not overspend for the sake of it. For supporters who are hoping for another massive summer of recruitment, this quote should recalibrate expectations. Liverpool will spend, but they will spend with purpose. And given the areas where gaps clearly exist, particularly at centre-back and potentially in midfield, that focused approach might actually serve the club better than another enormous scattergun window. Florian Wirtz, what does debut season numbers actually mean? Squawka published a fascinating statistical comparison that deserves genuine analysis. In terms of chances created from open play during a debut Premier League season for Liverpool, the list reads as follows. Dirk Kuyt created 62 chances in 2006 to 2007. Florian Wirtz created 57 chances in 2025 to 2026. Mohamed Salah created 53 chances in 2017 to 2018. Jermaine Pennant created 52 chances in 2006 to 27. Wirtz is 23 years old and finished second on that list in his very first Premier League season. My analysis on this: that statistic is genuinely impressive and it needs to be taken seriously. When you are placing a player's debut season in the same conversation as Mohamed Salah's debut at Liverpool, that alone tells you the level of quality involved. Salah went on to become arguably the greatest player in Liverpool's modern era. I am not saying Wirtz will replicate that. I am simply saying the numbers confirm that Wirtz belongs at this level. The debate around his inconsistency last season has to be balanced against this kind of statistical output. 57 chances created in your first season in English football, in a new league, in a new country, with everything that adaptation demands, is not a failure. It is actually a very strong foundation. Chelsea want Florian Wirtz, and the Xabi-Alonso connection is real. This is where the summer takes a sharp and unexpected turn. Transfer News Live, citing Football Insider, reports that Chelsea are showing strong interest in Florian Wirtz following a personal request from Xabi-Alonso. The report confirms that Wirtz developed into a world-class talent under Alonso's guidance at Bayer Leverkusen, and that the pair built a strong relationship during their time together. The key line in this report is this: Liverpool are believed to be open to offers for Wirtz if the right proposal arrives, following an inconsistent campaign last season. My analysis on this. I want to be very careful here because this is a rumor at this stage. Football Insider is the source, and while they break stories regularly, this has not been confirmed by the club or by Wirtz himself. So we treat this as a rumor. A credible rumor, but a rumor. What I will say is this: the Xabi-Alonso factor is not something to dismiss lightly. Alonso knows Wirtz better than almost any other manager in world football right now. He built him, coached him, and turned him into a Champions League winner at Bayer Leverkusen. If Alonso personally requests a player, that player tends to listen. Personal relationships in football matter enormously at this level. The detail about Liverpool being open to offers is the part that will concern supporters the most. After a season where Wirtz delivered 57 open play chances in his debut Premier League campaign, the idea that Liverpool might sell him raises serious questions about the club's long-term vision. If this rumour has any substance, Liverpool's leadership will need to think very carefully about the message that sending such a player to a direct competitor would send to the rest of the squad and to potential future signings. Curtis Jones to Inter Milan. The numbers and the gap. According to Gianluca Di Marzio, one of the most respected football journalists in Italy, Inter Milan have submitted a bid of €20 million for Liverpool midfielder Curtis Jones. Liverpool, however, are asking for €30 million plus a percentage on any future resale. That leaves a gap of €10 million between the two clubs at this stage. My analysis on this. Curtis Jones has been a Liverpool player his entire career. He came through the academy, he fought for his place, and he has shown genuine quality in patches. But the fact that Liverpool are willing to enter negotiations with Inter Milan suggests the club has made a decision about his future at the club. The €10 million gap is not insurmountable. These things move, but the sell-on clause that Liverpool are insisting on is an interesting detail. It suggests Liverpool believe Jones has a higher ceiling than 20 or even €30 million reflects. A sell-on clause is the kind of condition you include when you think the player will be worth significantly more in the future. That is actually a vote of confidence in Jones as a footballer, even if the club is willing to let him go. If a deal gets done anywhere near Liverpool's asking price, that is reasonable business for a player developed entirely through their own academy. Guardiola's farewell and what he said about Liverpool. Pep Guardiola has now brought his 10-year reign at Manchester City to an end. And in a reflective interview with Noel Gallagher, he made a statement about Liverpool that every Red should hear. He described Liverpool as a nightmare to face. His exact words were that every time they played, it was a nightmare. He also said it was really good, and that it always had been, going back to his battles with Jurgen Klopp in Germany when Klopp was managing Borussia Dortmund. Guardiola added specific praise for Anfield itself. He said it has a history that no stadium has. He called it a really tough place, not just because of the atmosphere, but because of the way Liverpool play. He said, and I want you to hear this clearly, you sleep 1 second and they punish you. He also touched on his personal relationship with Klopp. He confirmed they have never had dinner together despite their years of rivalry, and that he is looking forward to finally making that happen now that both men have stepped away from their previous roles. My analysis on this. When Pep Guardiola, one of the greatest managers in the history of football, calls your team a nightmare, that is not just a compliment. That is a legacy statement. He could have said many things in his farewell reflections. He chose to single out Liverpool. He chose to single out Anfield. That speaks to how deeply those battles shaped his years in England. The fact that Guardiola only won once at Anfield during the entirety of Klopp's tenure, a victory that came in an empty stadium during the pandemic period in February 2021, tells you everything about what Liverpool built under Klopp and what Anfield represents as a footballing environment. Connor Bradley. The injury update and what it means for the transfer window. Liverpool right-back Conor Bradley has been sidelined since early January after surgery to repair both bone and ligament damage suffered during a Premier League match at Arsenal. He is 22 years old and had made 21 appearances during the season before the injury. Northern Ireland manager Michael O'Neill has offered the most recent update, confirming that Bradley is making progress but declining to put any timeline on the recovery. O'Neill spoke warmly about the player, noting that Bradley sent him a personal message of congratulation after O'Neill signed a new 4-year contract extension with Northern Ireland. That small detail says something about the character of the player. The injury to Bradley, combined with regular fitness issues for summer signing Jeremy Frimpong, meant Liverpool were forced to use Dominik Szoboszlai and later Curtis Jones at right-back during the season. Two midfielders deployed as right-backs. That is not a position of strength. That is a position of real vulnerability. Liverpool have been looking at options to strengthen at right-back. Two names that have been explored according to the available information are Denzel Dumfries of Inter Milan and Lutcherel Geertruida of Sunderland. My analysis on this. The right-back situation at Liverpool is one of the most urgent issues heading into this summer, and it does not get spoken about as loudly as it should. When your first choice right-back is out until an unconfirmed date, your backup has struggled with fitness throughout an entire season, and you spent part of your campaign playing a central midfielder in that position, you have a problem that needs addressing immediately. Bradley's return is clearly not going to happen on any fixed or guaranteed timeline. O'Neill's careful language around not putting a timeline on the recovery is the language of someone who is managing expectations, not reassuring them. Liverpool cannot afford to enter next season hoping Bradley is fit and available. The names being linked, Dumfries and Geertruida, represent different profiles. Dumfries brings Champions League experience and physicality. Geertruida brings a different kind of profile. But either way, the message is clear. Liverpool know this position needs cover, and they are actively looking at their options. When you step back and look at everything happening around Liverpool right now, the picture that emerges is one of a club in genuine transition. Konaté leaving on a free, Alisson retained. Wirtz potentially attracting interest from Chelsea, Diomandé being chased aggressively. Curtis Jones potentially heading to Inter Milan, Bradley recovering from serious injury, the right-back position needing investment. Every single one of these stories matters individually, but together they paint a portrait of a club that is actively reshaping its squad in real time, making hard decisions, and trying to position itself for what comes next under Arne Slot. The financial position, as we discussed, is stable. The money is there, but the approach will be targeted, not extravagant. That means the decisions Liverpool make have to be right. There is less room for error when you are spending with precision rather than volume. Guardiola's departing words about Liverpool being a nightmare sum up the standard this club has set over the past decade. The challenge for Slot and the ownership group now is to ensure that standard is not just maintained, but built upon in a summer that is already proving to be anything but quiet. This is Victor Liverpool Analyst. Stay subscribed, stay informed, and as always, the full picture matters.